Good morning, Greene County. I don't think, is the mic on? Okay, we're working on it. How's everybody this morning? Did everybody get the opportunity to take a long weekend? And what did we do that was fun, entertaining, exciting? Okay, Justin, that is not a fair question. Anybody do anything fun? Planted flowers. What kind of flowers? Oh, baskets. Very good. Well, that's great. At least you got outside. You got a little bit physical. Well, that's awesome. So, I'm the county auditor, and the county auditor should be able to add numbers together. That is kind of a given. However, if you recall, last week we had our mini game challenge, and I was handed a piece of paper for all the remote scoring, and I took 2 hash marks as number 11. Can anybody tell me what's wrong with that picture? Yeah, it's off, isn't it? It's not the right number, not off. It was actually number 2 instead of number 11 that was hash marks. So I'm here to confess it was me. I was the picked up 11 and to be ribbon. And I'd like Christian and the entire assessor team to come up and accept the prize. Come on, everybody. Come on, the whole assessor team.
Most of my team's down working on our move.
Okay.
But thank you for this. We'll cherish it. And it takes a strong person to admit a mistake. And I appreciate that.
I'll be the first one. I will. I'll take full responsibility. So congratulations to the assessor team. Yeah. Well, I knew when I got back to my office that the total remote count exceeded the number that was online. So that was my first clue. Yeah, that was a first clue. It's like, okay, that's not working. So anyway, I appreciate OEM for their graciousness, and congratulations to the assessor team. Today we had scheduled a presentation from E911. Many of you know Chris Inman, the director there, retiring. So we wanted to catch him before he left and talk to us about 911. Unfortunately, he has a conflict. He's over today. And I saw an article that was produced by KOLR10, and it was of the Springfield Underground. And they did a tour of the underground and posted the video of the tour. And the tour was really interesting. I mean, I knew enough about the underground to be dangerous, but you kind of have this vision of what it is, what's stored out there. Does anybody have any idea? Yeah, Julie, you've got an idea what's out there? A lot of cheese from Kraft. And a lot of people look at that as food products because there's a lot of food products out there. But I thought I would save this video in the event we had a short-term cancellation and we could punt with that video. So are you guys ready to kind of start the video?
Over 70 years to remove the limestone product used as construction aggregates in the market. So it went into everything from concrete to asphalt to roads, bridges, university campuses, everything. As Springfield grew, we were providing the building blocks for it. The space that was remaining after mining, we've turned into an industrial complex. We have 3.5 million square feet of underground space, and that's inside the walls leasable space. We've grown about 680,000 square feet in the last 5 years, and that's added about 95 jobs. We run 500 to 600 tractor trailers through the underground on a given day, and majority of that traffic goes up and down LeCompte Road, which we're working in partnership with the city to widen LeCompte Road.
Gotcha.
Because of the traffic and the growth in the last couple of years.
So we're going through the entrance. Again,
Open pit. Down in and then mainly last some years. Underground, if you're afraid of space, dealing with the temperature fluctuation side environment. You think so we right?
and would you happen to know how much cheese?
I don't off the top of my head.
I imagine it's a lot, though.
It's a lot, yes.
So yeah, I know you can't. I don't know if you're comfortable with naming sort of some of the companies that work with you guys.
Well, I would put it this way: if you have cheese on any product, fast food, or at your home, then you've probably had product that came through here. About 75% of that 3.5 million square feet is food product storage, and probably 60% of our space is refrigerated. I'll take you up in a little bit to go look at one of our machine rooms that refrigerates the space down below. That's the front office for a warehouse, and then around the corner are where their trucks bring the products in and out.
So you mentioned 3.5 million square feet. I mean, how long of a drive is it from one end to another?
We have over 3.5 miles of roadway. So from the front to the back is probably little over a mile.
So obviously with that amount of space, is surely you guys haven't utilized every single piece of land here, have you?
No, we haven't. We've still got space to grow and build, and that's why we need LeCompte Road addressed and widened, is because as we're adding space down here, we're increasing the truck traffic.
So being underground and everything like that, it would appear that the weather doesn't really affect you guys too much, except for the drive on the way in.
That's correct. So our climate down here is almost reverse of what it is outside. So you see it's very dry right now because the air outside is dry, and we're pulling outside air into the underground. Excuse me. In the summertime, it's cool down here, but it's also wet because we're bringing the hot, humid air from outside in. It hits the cold rock and condenses, so it'll drip in the summertime down here.
So are you guys pretty much open 24/7?
We are open 24/7. So there are trucks moving. If you think about when you're on the highway, all times of the day and night, trucks are moving, and so we are part of the food chain distribution network that gets products to and from the grocery stores. So those trucks and plants are running and moving all the time.
And so, what do you do in terms of, well, with your title as president and everything? What are your duties?
I'm very fortunate to set the overall strategic direction of our company, and I get to be the guy that talks to nice people like you and explain what we do. So honestly, I don't do a whole lot. I have a great team that most of the day-to-day. We have teams that maintain the operation system, clean the underground. We've got accounting, information technology. A building full of things. Here. So, on the side of that truck.
So you mentioned to do some more like what are what's your plan for this?
Our line is to finish developing the underground, which is about another 1.5 million square feet, and then we want to continue developing the surface. Right now, we don't have any industrial buildings on the surface. We have a master plan to do that. We need to get LeCompte Road widened in order to complete that plan. So that's number one on the agenda right now. 10 years, this will be a fully functioning surface and underground real estate development. Then we've started another underground on the west side of Springfield. So in 10 years, I would hope that we would be able to have enough space mined out over there to build a building. Our expansion will be behind these curtains. If you see those, that will be the next area that we build out.
Gotcha. So this is, I assume, not really open to the public. You guys have a bunch of gates and barriers and what have you. Is this correct?
It is. We have restricted access, mainly to protect our food chain, right? We don't want anybody tampering with any product that's stored down here. And our clients are concerned about food safety, and they want to make sure that they've got product integrity. Also, the amount of truck traffic that we have down here, it's just not safe for people to be down here wandering around. We do open it once in a while. We generally partner with a local organization to raise money. Recently, we had the round around the underground bike race to benefit Trail Springs and some of the trail network in the area.
And so so bikers got a chance to ride down here.
Some of the mountain biking community and off-road cycling community, yes, got an opportunity to see it.
That's got to be pretty exciting. As a biker, you're typically outside. You're not really riding through the indoors in any means. But this would be a very unique spot to be able to do that.
It was a lot of fun. It was especially fun to see the little kids and see how excited they were to get to come down here around. So
we kind of talked about how the public might kind of view you guys as a bit of a mysterious company. Can you kind of talk a little bit about that?
Well, I think the fact that we're out of sight, it's always interesting to me when somebody thinks they are the first one to discover us, even though we've been here for 50 or 60 years. But I think just the fact that you don't see anything, it drives some narratives that are a little more interesting than what really goes on down here. I wish we were as interesting as what some of the conspiracy theories talk about. One of them is the amount of food that we have stored and what is it stored for. Well, really, the food is not stored here. We are a network, so food that's manufactured in local partners' operations comes here a lot of times on a quality hold. Product will have to sit for a few days to make sure that it's safe to distribute to the general public, and then it'll leave here and get shipped to the distribution centers. So we're a waypoint. We're a surge capacity in the food chain. I don't know if you saw the rail cars right there. I think you got those.
So trucks and trains, and looks like a few vehicles, I assume, from your employees that are around here.
Correct. So there's about 500 people working the underground. We've added 95 jobs in the last couple of years with our expansion.
Now, is underground distributing, like, is this a common occurrence with cities, or is this kind of unique?
It's fairly common in the Midwest. In Kansas City, there's quite a lot of underground space. It's very common in that area. The largest underground is in Kansas City. There's an underground development in Carthage, Missouri. There's an underground development in Neosho. There's one at the Jefferson Barracks Bridge, busing underground in St. Louis. So it's not as uncommon as you might think. It has a lot to do with the geology of the area and the mining, how the mining took place. So you don't have a lot of it on the coasts, but in the Midwest, where there's mainly limestone, there's quite a bit of it.
So you mentioned trying to mine another section of the city. I mean, how long does that take?
Also, it all depends on the rock we sell. So one of our businesses is selling rock. If we're able to, can't, yeah, you have to sell it for. I got a Wi-Fi signal. Again, one of these buildings looks like. Where we used to convey the geographic. So the above and above us around is a karst. It's moving through. Seeing water through our turn. This facility is full of personal protective equipment. It's a good place to store in the event of in this area, a tornado would be the biggest concern. So it's safe down here from natural disasters. We'll drive out here and I'll show you where we started as an organization. So up this ramp is Kearney Street.
Yeah.
So this area is an open pit quarry that was started in 1946. And then you can see the the solid rock walls around the perimeter. Some of them have been sprayed with concrete, but then you can where they start coming back into the underground in the 1950s and building 60s. There's a that space, the refrigerator. If you look in your home, somewhere in the compressor and a cooling unit, well, that's the technology. What's in your home? It's just we're refrigerating.
Okay. here.
Size. I mean, I knew it was big, but just from driving by, I had no idea how.
Yeah, the sheer size, the amount of limestone. Yeah. And Kevin would have been a good one to talk about that for sure. Yeah, when I first saw that video, I just kind of had to take a pause and kind of go, "Wow, okay, now I understand the operation." I mean, I don't remember if he said that in that clip, but they have 500 to 600 tractor trailer rigs going in and out every day, which that is pretty phenomenal, when you think the amount of, and look out there and you go, "Oh, there's nothing going on out there." It just looks like, but to have that much traffic, and in the tour, you could kind of see how they laid everything out. So everything's kind of one way. You're not going to, have a two-way with a tractor trailer rig, and maneuvering in and out of there. Pretty fascinating. Um, so Julie, you were right. They store a lot of cheese out there. Yeah, they store a lot of cheese out there. I don't know if we have the contract yet, but Chris mentioned this morning, and so did Angie, that we are looking at potentially having our salt storage there. Chris, would that be at the proposed west side, correct? East side. Yeah. So that would be one area where we use that. Back in the old days, and I'm maybe the old days I remember, we used to store our backup tapes for IS. Everything that we backed up on the server, everything that was backed up was stored out there. Technology has changed since then, and so we no longer do that. But that was something that we used it for back in the dark ages. Anything else that was interesting? Chris, do you have any comments about the underground of where your knowledge of it is?
Go to the microphone so people can hear you.
Some wheels fall off this morning. We're trying to get back on. So yeah, city called and I know you had a cancellation, but yeah, with the salt storage, what's unique about it is, since there is rail service into there, it's not like we'll be bringing salt in and then bringing it out. It'll be brought in by the contractor that we purchased from, and then us in the city of Springfield also will have a contract to haul salt out. And obviously, being in a controlled environment, you don't have to worry as much about it getting hard or keeping it treated like we do at our current overflow location out there at Kaufman Road, which is over by James River Expressway. Now, we won't be running trucks on a regular basis in and out of there. It would just be stored. So what we would do then is when our salt barn on campus, at the highway campus, gets low, then they'll bring salt from that location to the county campus. That way, we're not going to be having vehicles in and out of there. That minimizes the traffic.
So in effect, does that create long-term storage versus short-term storage on our campus?
That is correct. Yes. So that way we have long-term storage out there. We obviously will be leasing space by cubic. I believe it's by cubic foot or cubic yard. But then again, with the buying power that we can have with the city of Springfield, we can get a better price on salt because I think it's a cooperative contract that we have with the supplier. And for them, it's easier because then they can just bring it to one location, especially, if there's rail access, it makes it much, much easier. So, because I don't know if several people remember 4 or 5 years ago when we pretty much ran out of salt, and we sent every truck up to Kansas City, and we had literally a convoy, caravan of trucks going to Kansas City and coming back with salt in the back. That was quite a day. It was a long day for those folks driving up and back, but there was a big line of 10.
Well, and you're dependent on the supply too, because we couldn't get it in at that point in time.
That's right. Yeah, they had it. They just couldn't get it to us because of how the rail system works. And it was said, all right, we're on our way. We'll go get it. So, but this will help that out quite a bit, obviously. And again, in that temperature controlled climate, there's not the worry about trying to use it all up before, you get down to it. And it, not that salt goes bad, but before it makes it difficult to work with.
Mhm.
So,
All right. Thanks,
yeah,
Chris.
oh, you're welcome.
Appreciate that. Any other thoughts or questions about the underground? Not that I could answer them, but I did enjoy the video just like you all. Okay, well, we may go ahead and adjourn a little bit early, but I appreciate your attention this morning. I hope you have a good week. Thank you all.